Can a lowly lamb ascend and trespass into the domain of the gods? Or will their followers lose faith in them? Today we embark on a quest to answer those questions in. Join me as we dive into uncharted territories, but before we do that, we start here. Bound by chain, we meet these four. Furball, snake, later known as frog, squid, and the spider. Here we discover that we're the last of our kind, all of whom were sacrificed to prevent a prophecy. And just like that, it all went dark. Until we wake up. Confused, we look around, uncertain of our surroundings. Upon further exploration, we meet this cat and his two underlings, sealed away by the four before. However, he was willing to give me life once more, at the very low price of starting a cult in his name. And so, with my mind made well before this interaction, we had a deal. And just like that, we were back. Met the guy who I was replacing, and quickly ran away because I don't like confrontation. Only for him to give me a heart attack seconds later. I then proceed to save this chicken. I then chose hard difficulty because I'm a masochist, but not very hard because that's scary. And so, we had our first cult member, naming them Ace Cluck. If you know, you know. And true to character, they ran away as soon as I turned around. And so, after cleaning up after them and making them food, with the help of Ace Cluck, I opened the door to the dark wood and I started my expedition. I picked up this big pokey stick, started swinging, and never looked back. That was until this thing came out of nowhere, straight from the shadows. I never saw it coming, and I paid the price. I was the fool. Time for round 2. And this time, I was given a much heavier stick. And, while on the verge of death, I met this guy, evidently named Cloning, who was seemingly a time traveler. Having read my cards, and yet this was the first time we met. Choosing to spare heart, I was on my way. Proceeded to find this gold necklace, steal their wood. Had an encounter with Furball. Found out his name is Leshy, and yet Furball sounds better. Accidentally walked in on something. Took a swing, failed. Was forced into a boss fight. Showed them my dominance. And sent them to their new home. Found an even cooler necklace. And upon returning home, performed accidental plastic surgery on Amdusius. Enzo changed his name and wiped him of all memories of his past life. Welcome aboard, Dorno. Now get to work. I then spoke to Remy, built a shrine, was told I needed a follower to worship me, was given a pig, named them Runt, if you know you know, and put them straight to work. Built a temple, held a sermon, permanently gained half a heart, set off on another expedition, got a jagged pokestick, learned of the crown's abilities, used the crown's abilities, ran into Furball, was jumped, picked berries after, walked in on something, added them to my cult, met Kudai, got a better stick, met Haru, built a commandment stone, walked into another boss, showed them no mercy, added them to the cult, got another cool necklace, was granted the ability to read minds, welcomed Themer to the cult, along with Valafar, unlocked Curse of the Horde, was given a bonfire ritual, went on an expedition, ran into 3 of the 4, learned their names to be Hecate and Calamar, chose to ignore it, found riches, found a market, learned their name to be Furnius, took everything they owned, walked in on something, stopped it, added them to my cult, got to the boss, died, then died again. On the way back, I found a new member, put my big boy boots on as I walked into the boss, got my get back. Added them to the cult, got a commandment stone, gained the ability to sacrifice a follower, unlocked the ascend a follower ritual, held the bonfire, welcomed Fibrina to the cult, along with Jobre and Barbados. Was told we needed to build a farm, built a farm, increased my starting weapon level, was then told I needed to name the cult, named it Okie Oaks, if you know you know, leveled up the cult, visited Remy, was challenged to Knucklebones, lost, got my get back, unlocked a new tarot card, bet it all on red, lost, bet it on black, got my get back, did it again, doubled it, took his berries, was caught red-handed, ran from confrontation. Upon my return to the cult, I found this. It's beautiful. Anyway, opened the next door for no reason, gave Runt a sick necklace, went on an expedition. Furball told me he'd be waiting. Walked in on something. The deal was too good to turn away. Sent them to the cult. Walked in on something again. Sent them to Purgatory. Take Day Wood Part 2. Met the fisherman. Told me about Pilgrim's Passage. Made it to Furball's room. And so, the fight was on. And as quickly as it started, it ended. And so, with his heart in my back pocket, and the door now opened, and getting back, we celebrated Furball's fall. I then unlocked a scarecrow in the lumberyard, built a scarecrow, welcomed Grian and Bonnie, unlocked Bane weapons, bought the Darkness Within perk with Furball's heart, got a commandment stone, unlocked the feasting ritual along with the stone mine, built a lumberyard, went to Pilgrim's Passage, met the fisherman again, was asked to catch a crab, lobster, octopus, and squid, was given a tarot card that allows fallen enemies a chance to drop fish, proceeded to catch an octopus, squids, and a crab, gave them to the fisherman, was given 3 of 4 parts of this red coin. Met the lighthouse keeper, learned they didn't know how to keep the flame lit, put wood in the furnace, and gained their loyalty. Bought the Hands of Rage tarot card, got back to the cult, unlocked the offering statue, held a sermon, and unlocked vampiric weapons. Finally got an Ace's good side, and gave him a cool necklace. Unlocked the body pit, released one of the chains, bought a follower, and sent them back home. Met them at the camp, turned them into a fish, named them Fish. If you know, you know. Made them orange, made their fins round, and they were complete. Welcome aboard, Mr. Fish. Met Rikshasa, bought pumpkin seeds from them, unlocked the next door for no reason, went fishing right after, and yet, still no lobster. Visited the lighthouse, was asked to fix it yet again, went back to camp, unlocked the refinery, permanently gained another half heart. Bonnie called this place a dump, took it to heart. Built 3 hay barrels. Bonnie was still hating. Went on an expedition to clear my mind. Was greeted by Frog. Made Volifar hungry. Took a stone. Made it to the boss. Heard them say Bonnie had a point. Sent them away. Got another commandment stone. Was told I needed to make offerings. Made it back to camp. Was shown the chest. Made an offering. Welcomed Goose into the cult. Held a sermon. Unlocked weapon mastery. Gained the faithful trait. Found this thing, unlocked the crypt, went on an expedition, met the remaining 3, was told to bow, refused, proceeded to regret it, purchased another follower, and sent them away. Unlocked the 4th door for no reason, was asked if I could allow 6 followers and agreed. Built them beds, welcomed the Enbray along with Yagre and Fehul. Unlocked the fertilizer silo, went on an expedition, met lost followers of Sozo, was told where to find him, met Chemek, offered me powerful things in exchange for nothing. What could go wrong? Took a tooth, unleashed its power, was threatened, walked in on something, made them regret it, gained a new follower, was threatened again, got to the boss, embarrassed him, and added him to the cult. Got back home, welcomed to Puno, along with Elegos, held a sermon, unlocked tier 1 of Fervor of the Righteous, gave my followers the belief in the afterlife trait, unlocked the missionary, bought another follower, and sent them away. Went on another expedition, ran into Frog. They then proceeded to cause a famine amongst my cult. Then found a necklace, take a wood part 3. Then proceeded to die, and then Volifar requested a bowl of poop, which I then accepted. Quickly held a sermon, unlocked the 2nd tier of Mail of the Devout, along with the demonic summoning circle, completed a commandment stone, gave my followers the grass eater trait, unlocked a missionary upgrade, and then disaster struck. While thinking I was feeding my followers bowls of grass, I accidentally fed them bowls of poop. Not yet aware of my mistake, I stood there in confusion as poop surrounded me, and started laughing at the new follower form. But then I started hearing that sound on repeat, and after seeing this, it all made sense. Well, if this didn't already. And in the last ditch effort, held the feast. Ran on to an expedition to forget my mistakes. Found pumpkins. Took the pumpkins. Found this fleshy room. Robbed it of all its meat. Found commandment pieces and completed a commandment stone. Made it to the boss this time. Died. Learned to inspire my people. Still struggling with faith, I decided to ascend Elegos. And then held the sermon. And then unlocked the curse of the occultist. Was asked by Darno to gather some flowers. Unlocked the shelter. Went on an expedition. Walked in on something. Was told to lie and say he was smarter than me. He's not. And proceeded to have a temper tantrum. Found out he was immortal. And with one last swing, was on my way. Take a stone part 2. Made it to the boss. Sent them flying. Added them to the cult. Got back. Held a sermon. Unlocked the curse of the tundra. Learned how to bribe a follower. Unlocked the outhouse. Went on an expedition. Ran into Haro. He warned me of new dangers in the area and was on his way. Was introduced to shiny cards. Took it and was on my way. Found the Transmogricon. Made it to the boss. Absolutely destroyed him. Added him to the cult. Took their eye. Went back home, unlocked the Ritual of Resurrection, along with the Healing Bay, finally unlocking the Curse of the Necromancer, gave Thorno his flowers, made it to Spore Grotto, purchased the Kinatarua tarot card, then met Sozo. After giving him mushrooms, he gave me the 4th piece of the coin, gave him some more mushrooms, and after giving me a presentation, showed me how to brainwash my followers, and then proceeded to give me another coin piece. Got back home, went on an expedition, ran into Frog, and was told that they'd be waiting for me at the end. Met Flinky, found out that they knew all about me from Remy, then told me that they'd be at his house. Ran into Frog, had nothing good to say, was told my possessions would follow me through death, got curious, met Monch, found out they had the ability to raise one of my followers' loyalty, chose Puno. Monch then proceeded to call them a fool, destroyed everything I could, and left. Ran into Haro, was told about their fight with the one who waits, then flew away, made it to Frog's door, proceeded to watch him transform, and the fight was on. And after slicing his tongue, his heart was mine, proceeded to unlock the door, made it back, and my followers celebrated Frog's fall, unlocked the tabernacle, gained the ritual of the harvest, held a sermon, unlocked tier 3 of Might of the Devout, bought the hunger perk with Frog's heart, purchased the fleece of the diseased heart with the coin I had, witnessed Valafar grow old, welcomed Fino to the cult, along with Zepar, along with witness Agars, broke up a fight, just to have to break it up again. Ascended Valafar, leveled up the cult, was asked to allow elders into the cult, agreed. Welcomed Nanojol, completed the request, placed a demonic summoning circle, unlocked the shared shelter, started to consider punching Bunny in the face. Still went through with the request though. Gave my followers the belief in materialism trait. Unlocked the curse of the beguiler. Finally decided to take a look at the demonic summoning circle. Not too sure of how it worked. Decided to go the safe route. Went on an expedition to test it out. Thought that it was cool that he kind of just followed me around. Found some new berries along with some cotton. Ran into Squilliam Fancy Son. They then proceeded to make Themer sick. Made it to the boss. Took revenge with Themer. Then added them to the cult, completed another commandment stone, got back to camp, gave my followers to respect your elders trait, discovered Ren had gotten old, and proceeded to sacrifice him, unlocked the second tier of fervor of the righteous, and to no one's surprise, resurrected Ren. Gained the ability to have cheaper rituals, proceeded to brainwash my cult, went on an expedition, ran into Squilliam Fancy Son, and then they proceeded to infect my cult with a plague. Met two more of Remy's friends, named Clunko and Bob, and was then enticed into a round of knucklebones. Then found some grapes, got curious again, regretted it, and then watched them hit the wall at max speed. Completed yet another commandment stone, made it to the true boss, died, held a sermon after, unlocked necromantic weapons, unlocked the wedding ritual, Bonnie kept hating, unlocked the second tier of the farm, witnessed Nanojol die of old age, buried him, held a sermon, unlocked tier 4 of Might of the Devout, went on an expedition, played catch, destroyed him, made it to the boss, got my get back, added them to the cult, got a necklace, dealt with this thing, made it back home, unlocked the compost, was then informed on a potential spy threat, found nothing, but was warned to keep an eye out, and gave my followers a substances and courage trait. Then went on an expedition, ran into Squilliam Fancy Son. They then proceeded to throw their siblings under the bus, take they would part 4, walked in on something, added them to the cult, met Plimbo, told me about Smuggler's Sanctuary, then made it to the boss, saw them look at me funny, added them to the cult, and then got back home. Broke up another fight, saw Jobber had died, buried them, leveled up my cult once again, was asked to bring Nanojol back, held the sermon, unlocked tier 5 of Might of the Devout, and then proceeded to revive Nanojol, and then proceeded to instantly get sick. Learned I could pet Themer, went on an expedition, Squilliam told me he'd be waiting, ran into the Spider, found a duck, added them to the cult, walked in on something, couldn't pass up his deal, and added him to the cult, made it to the boss door, told him Squidward did it better, and he didn't take it so kindly, and killed me. Got back home, unlocked the second tier lumberyard, held a sermon, unlocked the 6th and final tier of the Might of the Devout, unlocked the alms for the poor ritual, welcomed Myrna, and decided they were the one, unlocked a new tarot card, then went to Pilgrim's Passage, finally gave the lighthouse keeper the crystal he needed, did some fishing, and yet still no lobster. I did, however, get the beak of the fowler, got back home, saw Barbados had died of old age, and buried him, placed and built my first shared shelter, welcomed Habern. Ren had told me that heretics and skeptics had made it to the camp, and asked if they could join. Allowed it. Went on an expedition, found some cauliflower, made it back to the boss, proved to him that Squidward did it better, and he couldn't take it. And so, I took his heart, and proceeded to open a door, and completed a commandment stone, made it back home, and celebrated Squilliam Fancy Son's fall, held a sermon, unlocked zealous weapons, and gave my followers the belief in absolution trait. And with Squilliam Fancy Son's heart, I bought omnipresence, and was then introduced to sin, and unlocked another branch of the skill tree, followed by this, and then unlocked the Rite of Lust ritual, and then proceeded to hold it, and then gained a temple building upgrade, and then while going back to the altar, discovered this, then proceeded to unlock the kitchen, and finally upgraded the farm, and then proceeded to upgrade the temple. held the first sermon in a newly renovated temple, and then unlocked the axe weapon mastery, witnessed the third chain link break, proceeded to go on an expedition, ran into the man spider, learned of the one who waits name to be Narinder. He then got salty from the betrayal and turned Puno against me, saw no other way, and had to put him down. Proceeded to then find beat roots and make it to the boss, just barely take him down and add them to the cult, made it back home, and unlocked the second tier outhouse. Welcome Balzabob to the cult, along with Abby Mallard, if you know you know. Unlocked the Grand Shelter, along with the prison. Welcomed Fet Yard, along with Fino. Was then asked to save Bird Fino's brother, then tried to re-educate Bunny Fino. They then proceeded to try and start a revolt. Resurrected Femur, went on an expedition to find Bird Fino's brother, was given a gun, sacrificed a red heart and was given 3 blue ones in return. Proceeded then to find Fino's brother, and added them to the cult. Made it to the boss, and got a commandment stone. Made it back to the cult. Was given no choice but to imprison Bunny Fino. Held a sermon. Unlocked dagger mastery. Gained the loyalty enforcer ritual. Went on an expedition. Ran into the sign, pointing me towards Midas's cave. Walked in on something. Added him to the cult. Met Bareth, and instantly didn't like him. Found out this was a family business and they were related to Bob, and Bob ran away. I can see why. And then they gave me another building I could build. And after running into the man spider, they confessed their sin to me by telling me that they were the ones that put the ideas in the one who waits head, and then out of fear and confusion locked them up. And then was told to bow and repent for my sins or suffer the same fate. Refused and was thrown into battle. Came out victorious and made it to the boss. Destroyed them and added them to my cult. Then met them, and then was warned to stop what I was doing or we'd meet again. Little did he know, I spaced out. Made it back to the cult. Unlocked the mating tent, proceeded to unlock a maid outfit. Ace Cluck started hating, held a sermon. Unlocked the blunderbuss mastery, held another ritual. Welcomed Folklore to the cult, along with Paul Murder, Algil, Thorniger, and Veffer. Went on an expedition, ran into Man Spider, turned my followers on me, and with no other way, had to put them down. Met Shrummy, told me I'll never compare to Remy, and then proceeded to challenge me to knuckle bones. Made it to the boss. Proceeded to get pummeled. Made it back to the cult. Fusion decided to turn the back on me, and for that decided to send him. Unlocked the Sinner's Pride ritual. Unlocked the drink house. Went to Remy's house. Met up with everyone. Challenged Flinky. Proceeded to lose. Challenged them again. Won. Unlocked a new tarot card. Challenged Clunko and Bop. Destroyed them. Unlocked a new tarot card. And then finally challenged Shrummy, and just barely won. And then got a new tarot card. Got back home, and then Ace Cluck requested to become one of my disciples. Unlocked the drum circle, held a sermon, unlocked sword mastery, made Ace Cluck my disciple, unlocked a new branch on the tree, broke up a fight, and finally released Fino the bunny from jail. Unlocked the ritual of the enlightenment, leveled up the temple, was then asked to allow some elders into the cult. Agreed. Welcomed Al to the cult, unlocked the second tier of the drink house, purchased a new follower, sent them to the cult, went on an expedition, proceeded to die, got back home, held a sermon, unlocked the eyes of the lost relics, unlocked the empowered shrine of the disciples, unlocked a grave for my followers to grieve at. I was told that Fino the bird's brother was so thankful for me rescuing them that they wanted to marry me, and so we did. Bought a new follower and sent them to the cult. Proceeded to go on an expedition, made it to the boss, died, got back home, proceeded to break up a fight, held a sermon, unlocked blessings of the relics, unlocked the holy day ritual, unlocked the collected shrine of the disciples, welcomed Hemmer to the cult, along with Grayarty, bought another follower, sent him to the camp, and then proceeded to go on an expedition. Walked in on something, told him life was a misery, and then sent him to the cult. Made it to the boss, and absolutely shredded him. Made it back to the cult, held a sermon, unlocked hammer mastery, and gave my followers the devotee trait. Welcomed June to the cult, along with Huhul and Howris, unlocked quicker ritual cooldowns, bought another follower, and sent him to the cult, then went on an expedition. Man Spider told me he'd be waiting. Found riches, made it to his door, watched him transform, died, made it back to the cult, and proceeded to go on another expedition. Walked in on something, and then proceeded to add them to the cult. Proceeded to die to poison, and then made it back to the camp. Broke up a fight, unlocked the re-indoctrination stone, held a sermon, unlocked gauntlets mastery, went on another expedition, walked in on something, and added them to the cult. Made it back, died, made it back home, unlocked the second tier of the hatchery, held a sermon, and unlocked the domination of relics. Went on another expedition, walked in on someone, and added them to the cult. Made it back to the boss, and finally got my get back. Then took their heart, opened the door, was then told I wasn't worthy of the crown. I then made it back home, and celebrated Schooling Fancy Sun's fall with my cult. Unlocked the morgue, and then unlocked the doctrinal extremist trait. And with Man Spider's heart was able to buy the resurrection ability. Held a sermon, unlocked merciless weapons, broke the final link, and opened the door, and went in, performed the ritual, and woke up right back where it started. Proceeded to choose a big heavy stick and chose the 19th tier of point of corruption. Made the walk up to the one who waits. Was then told to lay my life down at his feet, and then took my followers as captives. Was then made to kneel and be sacrificed. Refused. Then prepared for my last stand and fought back. Was challenged by Vol, came out victorious. Was then challenged by Im and succeeded. And was finally put up against the one who waits and died. Got back home and raced back, defeated Vol, and lost to Im. Raced back again, defeated Vol, along with Im. Was then challenged by the one who waits, and finally defeated them, or so I'd like to say, as they proceeded to then pull out their second form, and then proceeded to die. Ran back in, not knowing what to expect, then challenged Vol, defeated them, was then challenged by Im, defeated them also, and was then challenged by the man himself. That's at their first stage, and then watched him transform, and with a well-placed shot, came out victorious. Chose to spare them and rub it in their face, and then sent them back to the cult. Freed my followers, and with that, finished the game. Or so you'd think. Made it back home. Proceeded to unlock permadeath mode. Not doing that. Along with penitence mode, which upon looking up, seems to be a mode that was created in collaboration with Don't Starve. Then welcomed the armor, along with Dornati, Julnabra, Jumerna, and finally, the one who waits. Unlocked the second tier of the crypt, visited Pilgrim's Passage, went fishing, and still no lobster. And then visited Midas's cave, saw the prices of everything, and quickly ran away. Made it back home unscathed, and after breaking up one last fight, I wanted to say thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.